So there's a correction on one of the autopsies that I made, and I want to make it very plainly clear that I don't mind correcting myself when I make a mistake because I'm a scientist, and that's what a scientist does. Go strictly on the evidence and let the issues lay as they may. And so I want to first say that the cardiologist, whom I can't, the cardiac thoracic surgeon, who I can't name due to confidentiality, is probably the best surgeon in Atlanta, cardiac surgeon in Atlanta. And I'll tell you why I said all of this. Well, let me just go on and start saying why I'm making this correction. Well, first of all, the hospital was extremely professional in releasing the records right away. And that surgical operative report was probably one of the best report I have ever read in my entire career of practicing medicine. It was very thorough, it was detailed, and it explained exactly what went on from the start to the end in terms of how everything transpired. And that's how we practice medicine. We used to practice medicine, and it's so wonderful to know that there are still good doctors out there who are going to do the right thing for people. So before I get into the histology of what we're looking at, just know that when the heart is being operated on, it has to go through phases of ischemia, And while, this is one of the first early post-CABG heart that I've done, it does show some changes of ischemic, but not to the point of being severely damaged. In fact, some of these changes, and I'm going to go down and show you the specifics, are probably healing ischemic tissue. But if you look at the surrounding, we're going to talk about it more, but if you look at it, even at this power, the surrounding cardiac myocyte, they're very healthy. And so we know that the cause of this person's death was not related to heart, but rather a bleeding duodenal ulcer. And that's why I make this submission that perhaps we should allow at least 72 to 96 hours after a multiple. This person had 5 blood vessel bypass graft. And so in that instance, had this person been observed for more than 24 hours, then they probably would have detected that duodenal ulcer. But because he was doing so well, and there was no sign of the duodenal ulcer apparently until after he had gone home. But I want to go down and show you this area that I initially thought was probably viral or a possible infarction. Well, first of all, viral would have been a little more diffuse. We don't see, and we're going to talk about these areas here, but if you knew they're patchy areas, probably healing ischemic tissue from the when the heart was off bypass, and even when the doctor was grafting the vessels. You're going to have some ischemic changes, but I think this would have been all healed tissue eventually. But we're seeing healed vessels. You're going to have some ischemic changes, but I think this would have been all healed tissue eventually. But we're seeing healing tissue now. So without delaying the fact of the matter is that what we're seeing is lymphocytes and histiocytes, some even vacuolated cells as if they're engulfing fatty change from the cellular breakdown. But if you notice, some of the surrounding myocardial are extremely healthy and do not show any changes of necrotic changes. So what we're seeing are healthy myocyte in between what we call inflammatory tissue or healing tissue. And that's what we see here. So now my revived statement would be that what we're seeing is off bypass. A heart that was going through ischemic changes during recent cardiac surgery. But this is not life-threatening, and obviously the person was doing fine, and had the bleeding not taken place, would have been a successful five blood vessel bypass, and that's unparalleled in such a elderly male. So that's what I wanted to say. Again, I am interpreting this as probably bypass ischemic changes during repair. But this is not, I'm so amazed that this could take place like so. So now I've learned something that, after a CABG, you're going to see some, obviously ischemic changes, but it's all not life-threatening and would have resolved itself had he not bled. So thank you for listening to the video.